So will you have to pour new aircrete once you have the ceramic in? You'll just pour all this new?
Look at how
it's in good shape.
Yeah, the aircrete.
It held up.
Oh yeah, it held up good. I mean, if you look at how well it held together on the inside.
The bubbles still look good. Okay, so the phone stopped working.
While we were walking the stove here.
So. Okay, because the phone freezes out in that cold of weather, right? Yeah. So do you want to tell me what you brought so that Darwin can fix it?
So we brought over the body of the rocket mass heater, the part that has the fire in it, and a little bit of the chimney and the stand.
You're just going to lift the sled in?
Yeah.
Okay, then lift the sled in and then leave the sled in. That won't hurt anything at all.
Yes, it's a lot easier.
So the sled, or the stove being round, made it hard for the kids to get a handhold.
We got it in.
Does that, is the stand in there with it?
Yeah.
Good girls. You guys are amazing. Okay, Kaya, you want to get the stand? Okay, Paige, there's still aircrete in it, so don't be bonking it around, okay?
Yep.
We didn't know if you wanted the stand, but I figured it would be easier to work on it if you had the stand. It actually doesn't look as bad as it did before. I think some of that metal has broken off.
Some of the metal is just completely
eaten up,
deteriorated away. I mean, it's just completely gone.
Yeah.
But you see how
even at the top.
You see at the top it was melting it and getting so hot that it was the gravity was pulling it down.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this weld right here. And pull this tube out. It's welded to the top of this, and I'm gonna cut all that out after I bust all the aircrete out of it.
Yeah.
And we'll just have this 12-inch tube in there, and then I'm gonna put inside of it.
Here, let's show them what's those.
Here, there's a better example in here.
Okay. Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay. And so, here's one stove, and it has the thing already in it. Before this gets folded up into a square, it looks like this.
Yeah. Which is so cool.
Okay. So this is all the tiles already cast. You can see my parts of my form I haven't even removed.
And this is part of your PDF, is how to make the firebox insert.
Yeah. How to build this firebox insert. This is made out of industrial grade refractory. I mean, it'll take up to 4,000 degrees of heat.
Which it kind of has to for the rocket stoves.
It does. And so, you know, this is for one of those, so it has the exhaust right here on top. When you fold this up, it'll fold up and the back will fold and it turns into a...
And it looks so much better than the first one. How many have you poured now? 8?
Yeah.
I think it's 8 at this point. But so the ones for my old stove are going to be a little different because the shape is a little different, right?
They are. But, well, yours has the exhaust that goes straight out of the back.
Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, it's the original. It was the original idea.
And I love it.
Julie loves
I
it.
adore it.
So we're going to keep it that way. I could modify it and just torch a hole in the top and use this same system here, but
It's already made.
no.
Look how tough that sucker is. That's
Right?
amazing.
Jeez. That old aircrete gets harder and harder and harder.
I think that's pretty exciting. So you're thinking you're going to have to cut it out because it's some of the spots where the welds did hold.
Well, I think up front here, I mean, you can see I couldn't get too far back welding with.
Okay.
So I'm thinking if I cut it up front, if I whack, if I cut this off
Yeah.
here, that I'm not too worried about the back. I mean, I did try and get in there and weld some of it, but gosh, that thing is.
So are you saying I don't get my original stove back? It's easier just to try the new one from here on. I would cry so hard.
Oh
if you
no,
took
I'm
this.
gonna put the. I already have your tiles made
Okay.
for your. So I don't know where they are.
Too many projects for one guy, huh? Hey guys, so today I'm showing some little video clips from the girls taking the rocket mass heater apart out in the cabin and getting it into a vehicle. Now, we did have an Airbnb there in the cabin until November. She was there until November with 2 little kids. She really enjoyed the use of the stove, but the inside of the stove had gotten to the point where it wasn't functioning properly because rocket mass heaters, rocket stoves, will bend metal. They will melt metal, and that's what had happened over the course of the last 2 seasons. First off, the metal had just kind of bent a little bit, and then the more efficiently it worked, it means hotter coals, hotter fires, longer periods of burning just before going to bed at night. And the inside had actually turned into like Swiss cheese and had started to really bend, which means that the smoke that was there, the gases that were there, were kind of being obstructed a little bit, getting up into the heat riser. So rather than pushing the envelope or feeling like we weren't getting as much out of our wood as I wanted to, and a safety issue, not safety issue from worrying about like there being a fire started, like as far as having my house burned down, but concern that the smoke wasn't efficiently moving through the stove. I didn't want smoke coming into the cabin. So I wanted to show how simple and light and easy it is to dismantle the stove. So I sent the girls out to do it also because I was lazy. I had other work to do and I'm like, I know they can do it. So the other thing I really had to help with was that the shroud that goes around the heat riser, the gases and everything go up into the heat riser and then they mushroom out and go back down before they go out the chimney. The heat riser is made out of aircrete, which means that it is slightly fragile. Not terribly fragile, but slightly fragile. And the way that we seat it in the stove, it's not necessarily cemented in place. It's just balancing there on the inside because we want to be able to remove it. It's a completely portable stove, and in order to have that be the case, the heat riser needs to be removable. So because it is, aircrete is brittle. It's not necessarily fragile, but it is brittle. And so I was the one that went out and actually removed the heat riser from the stove and put it in a safe place. We already have listings coming in, people wanting to stay in the cabin for the summer. And so we want to make sure we have that all ready before we are renting out the cabin. If we had the stove finished right now, I would be renting the cabin now. But I just want to make sure that there's no kinks, nothing that needs to be done before we have actual people in there. I think it would be super fun for winter camping, and that's why we want to get it done now, is so that I have a little bit of cold weather left in order to be able to go out and sleep in the cabin and test out and make sure that everything's working.
Okay, so Kai decided to turn everything around. So, and this is upside down. Hooray.
Now let's turn it right side up. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. No. Because the timer's upside down now.
Yeah, turn it off. Can you tell we're out of practice with videoing?
There we go. Okay. First, let's get this other piece. Can you see? Can you see? It's right there, so let's find something for you to be on. Because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. There we go.
I got the mini wrench.
Ooh, Peach. Can I borrow that? I'm stuck on the first round. Yep, here we are. You should have gotten this a lot sooner, Paige.
Mom said you can put it on right there. Yep. Come on. Okay, so we're gonna move the rocket mass heater into our sled and then pull it home. Kai's gonna video us pulling it home for a little bit and then, yeah. So, let's go to work. Okay, do you want the door?
It's the metal in that thing that'll take it out of you.
Yeah, and the concrete.
There is a concrete, the air crate. Air crate eats a lot. Okay, ready to watch. That is what happened. What you see right now is what happens when you look through plastic. What? Let's see. There we go. There she is. Okay, let me grab. I'm gonna grab a stand. Oh yeah. You close this door. Kitty, kitty, kitty. And cat's in. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Oh. Thank you for being the one pulling, Paige.